We're moving on to the possible Hawks 76ers discussing a Teague and Noel deal. We talked about Nerlens Noel and Jahlil Okafor possibly being traded by the 76ers last week. If you missed that, check it out last week. But we are talking specifically about the Teague and Noel trade, the possibility of Noel going to Atlanta and the possibility of Teague going to Philadelphia. This mainly works because Noel is going to Atlanta, who it possibly can lose Horford and Millsap, trying to build up their youth in the backcourt. And Teague works because the 76ers need a point guard. And if they can't find one in the draft, Teague is already an established point guard. He's a former All-Star. So, I think it works out in just the sense that both teams are benefiting. But do you think this trade actually happens? And do you think this trade makes sense logically?
I think it has all the potential to happen because both teams have that safety net. The Hawks are giving up Teague, but they have Schroeder. The 76ers are giving up Noel, but they've got multiple bigs behind him. So neither one of them is giving up an essential piece to their future. They both get a need that they instantly improve on. So it really comes down to the fact of, all right, how much more does, the 76ers value Noel than the Hawks value Teague? Do we have to throw in some late picks for that? Both teams have later first-round picks. They have seconds. Whatever it comes down to, there is definitely potential here to make this work. The teams have the right pieces to get things done. It's just going to come down to, is the value right from the front office?
The thing with Noel, we've seen him be in a kind of not a star position because, no one on the 76ers has been a star, but a go-to guy in his first year when he played for the 76ers. He was the guy in Philadelphia because there was no one else on that team.
Right.
And he didn't really succeed, but didn't do terribly. I think he was around a 10 and 1.5 blocks player.
Yeah.
So, Noel can be a good focal point for your team, and I think Teague can be a focal point. None of these guys are stars. None of these guys are going to be franchise changers, but I think these guys can be good pieces and good pieces in your starting lineup. I think that works well just from a logistical way of, Teague's going to help your team because you need help from the point guard position, and Noel helps your team because you're losing Horford and Millsap. I think it works out, but really, again, it's more of what are you going to add, because I think that the Sixers want a little more value than just Teague straight up because Noel is so young, and Noel really hasn't hit his full potential. And even though he does have injury problems before with his ACL, he still does have a lot of potential.
Well, and my whole thing when I first saw this was, I would, in my mind, I totally would think the Sixers would rather go for a guy like Dennis Schroeder than try to get a Teague. And it's all about trying to be predicting to me what the conversation is. And here's what I think the conversation kind of went down. Okay, we kind of want Noel. Okay, well, we want Dennis Schroeder. Okay, well, give us the first. Okay, we'll take Teague. That's how it went down. Because the Hawks don't want to give up Schroeder. They think that he's the future. And to me, this is the best for both teams. If you're with the Sixers, like I said, if I'm in the Sixers organization, I would want to try to get Schroeder more so than Teague. However, in order to get Schroeder, the Hawks may be asking for the first, or you may have to say, well, fuck a Teague-Noel deal. It now has to become a Schroeder-Okafor deal.
No, I don't think Schroeder commands anywhere near that value point.
No, I'm saying that the Hawks, that's what the Hawks would be
I don't care.
Valuing him that high where that's
crazy.
What it would have to turn into.
I think that's batshit crazy.
I think
because we can value him one way and then the team values him
you're
a
right.
different way.
I'm not disagreeing. I just think it's batshit crazy.
No, Schroeder and Teague have similar stats. They put up similar numbers.
Schroeder obviously played less minutes.
Yeah, it's just the fact that Schroeder's 22, Teague is 27 at the end of a contract. So, I could see the value of being there saying, okay, probably the 24 and I don't even know if that would even be included. Maybe the 26. Just you're going to have to toss in one of those late firsts, I feel, for that to work if you want to go for more value. But no, it's just straight up Teague and Noel, and then probably Atlanta's going to have to give them something else to balance it out because while Teague is a known commodity, the upside for Noel overreaches above what Teague has done. So they're going to give him something. It's just that matter of what are the Hawks going to give them? Is it a player? Is it a pick? Honestly, I think, with this new 76ers front office, they may be looking for a player. They may be going, we'll give you Noel if you give us Teague and And it's that question of who's that guy that could toss in?
Maybe you want a veteran. Maybe you throw in Kyle Korver. I mean, he did not do that well last year.
It's an off year for him.
Yeah, and
then you could, the 76ers could come back and be like, all right, you can have Stauskas or something. Like,
yeah.
It's going to be end up trading bench players, but both teams feel like, hey, this is helping our cause. And like you said, these are pieces. They're not the go-to guy, but they're going to help your team grow and they're going to get better.
Do you think this trade happens? Yes or no, Ricky?
Yes. This is, to me, the best option of a trade is Noel and Teague, because you know what? The Hawks, this is something that, because this trade's going to happen before the draft or on draft night, so it's not going to be Horford left, we need to make this deal. Mm-hmm. So I think this deal gets done so that they can turn to Horford and say, we're trying to help this team out. Or it could be a complete opposite of
what if it's
walk.
just Horford?
Just walk. We don't care.
Now the value is let's just get you out of here.
Yeah, let's just get you out of here. And we just gave it, because you gave away Teague. And I mean, I know you have Schroeder, but really they could tell Horford.
But now you have Schroeder and Nerlens, so you've got a young core starting. So maybe you get rid of Horford, you bring in somebody else. I'm not saying Horford's old, but he's still got great value.
Or do you think Horford's just going to walk anyway for a team that needs a big?
I think he'll walk. I think he wants a big contract. I don't think Atlanta's going to want to give him it.
He's going to get paid.
Yeah.
He's got to get wined and dined first.
Celtics.
Do you think the Noel trade happens?
Yeah, I'm a buyer. I think it's a win-win trade. Both franchises get inherently better right off the bat. I don't see the downside. I think this is one of those ones where it's like, until, somebody actually mentioned the names, like, I mean, Nerlens could move, but I don't know a team who's going to pay up the right price. And this one just kind of smacked me in the face. Like, that makes perfect sense.
I'm going to just disagree with you guys just for the fuck of it. I think, looking at this trade, I think it's good. I think it works well for both teams, but looking at it, I just think it's not going to happen because one team's going to overvalue one player, and then they're not going to be able to work it out. I just think one team's just
It's
not...
hard to get front offices to see eye to eye on value for players.
I think one team's just going to be too stingy, and I don't think it's going to happen, whether it's on draft day, whether it's before the draft. I just don't think it's going to happen. Just my personal opinion, just because one team's going to overvalue one guy.
And the one thing this is from Philly.com, on top of this deal, the Sixers could add Nick Stauskas and or Robert Covington.
There you go.